Hi, Coach Donna here. I'm actually coming to you talking to you about incremental growth today. And I'm talking about incremental growth for a very good reason. I was actually reminded last night during a conversation that growth is incremental and it happens little by little. It doesn't happen in huge steps, it happens in small, very incremental steps. Um, when we have a business vision, it is normally so huge and so massive that we start out thinking about up here. But when we're actually working, we start out working like way down there and we eventually get to here. And in this place where we're working and we're doing and we're doing and we're networking and we have our business plan and we got our forecast and we got all of this stuff and we got the systems that we're thinking we're going to have and we haven't tapped into all of our resources, but we got the resources and we've got, a support system that in the people that we need, and we know all the right things that we're supposed to do and right say, and we're doing all this stuff. And some stuff we do because then we're going to get paid for it. Some stuff we do and we get underpaid for it. And some stuff you do and you don't get any pay for it. Then you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it. And you get to a point where you're so deep in the work and your nose is just on the grind and you're doing it. And sometimes you in the middle of all of that, no matter how at the end of the day the success or the good feelings that you have because you're living your dream out, sometimes you feel like, man, am I doing okay? Is it really supposed to be like this? Have I met the place that I'm supposed to meet for what I'm doing, or am I just doing something wrong here? I mean, what's really going on? And a friend of mine and I, we were talking last night, and we were talking about business and just how hard it can be on your life in general. And just, she was so tired when we were talking, and she was just trying to get something to eat so she could go home and be a mama after being entrepreneur for 7 days straight, 7 years straight basically, and not really having a whole lot of time to herself to just breathe. And she, we were both, and she didn't know I felt the same way that she did, but at one point she was just like, man, I don't know. It's just, this is a lot, it's a lot to ask for me to do. And there's so much to do and I just don't know. I mean, I'm doing, but I just don't know. And I was like, no, sis, he said little by little. And then I was reminded of a scripture from a women's retreat that my pastor, Pastor Kelly in Michigan, she taught us on the idea of incremental growth. And it was talking about Exodus and a time in Exodus when they were getting ready to take over another part of the land that they were promised for possession. And this particular part of the land was different from the other one. Well, the takeover for this land was different from the other one. In that, in the time of kings, the way that the kings conquered is they would go in, they would plan the assault. After they planned the assault, they would go in, they would assault, they would tear everything up, they would burn stuff down that was contrary to their belief. They would kill the soldiers and all the generals and to kill the king, kill the king's descendants, make all the women slaves or wives, and make all the children and the old people slaves. And that's how they did it. And then when they were done, it was theirs. So like, however long it took for them to kill them and get it and all that, it was over. And they possessed immediately. But in this instance, they weren't possessing immediately. In fact, the Lord said, this one you're going to get in little by little. You're not going to get this one all the way. It'll be little by little. Because if I gave you this little by, just in one fell swoop, what would happen is the stuff outside, the wolves and the wild animals would actually come in and encroach upon you and overtake you. That says to me that there needs to be balance in that specific place where I'm going. It says to me that I have to learn the system to keep the ecosystem balanced, so that when I'm there, I'll understand the inside of the fortress that I'm building and the things that surround to maintain it and keep it going regularly. So little by little, we get what we want. Doesn't happen overnight. And in fact, you know those lottery winners that make millions and millions off of one lottery ticket? More than most of them, within 3 years, are worse off financially than they were before they got the money. Why? Because they didn't have the understanding to stay in that place. And it happened so fast, they never had time to understand and learn everything that it took for them to truly maintain their place that they were going to, and truly be able to understand, possess, and live in that place. You can always stay in the air temporarily. Every balloon goes up temporarily, but if as it deflates, it comes down. And I don't want my life to be a balloon. I would rather it be an airplane that I guide to take off, to soar, and to stay up as long as I have fueled for it to stay up. And then, when I'm ready for it to come down, for it to glide down to the place where I desire for it to land, without complication. And I need for it to do that over and over and over. So, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about too is there's a principle in the Bible that talks about how sometimes we get antsy for our vision to happen. And we think it's taking a long time. But it says, even though it seems like it's taking a long time, it's really not. It won't wait. Even though it feels like it's waiting, even though it feels like you're waiting for it, you're actually not. It won't wait, and it's for an appointed time. It's not going to happen before it's supposed to. And when it happens, you will know the change, because it will be as if it is natural as breathing, because it will be there at the appointed time that it's supposed to be. So, remember, your successes are incremental, and that every phase is important for your growth and development. Life in 4G is living in God, living in gratitude, living a life of giving, and living in your greatness unapologetically. This is Coach Janae saying, thanks so much. Have a great day.